Russia and Ukraine appear to be edging closer to conflict. Rebels in Ukraine, backed by Russia, are mobilising for war, feared to break out within days.
Meanwhile, Western nations are stepping up warnings of the consequences for Russia should it invade, with hopes the crisis can still be solved through diplomacy.
Our North America correspondent Jade McMillan joins us now from Washington for more. Jade, what is the latest on the ground in Ukraine?
Well, violence in contested parts of eastern Ukraine have continued to escalate. International monitors say that there have been hundreds of explosions in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. These areas have been the site of conflict between Ukrainian forces and Russian-backed separatists since 2014, but activity has really stepped up over the past few days. Separatists had already started evacuating residents from the region, and now they've declared a full military mobilisation. They say that's needed because of the threat of an imminent attack by Ukrainian forces. That is something that Ukraine has rejected as completely false. And on the contrary, both Ukrainian and Western leaders argue that what is happening in these parts of eastern Ukraine is all part of Russian plans to essentially stage a crisis as a pretext to invade. Now, the US President Joe Biden warned yesterday that he is now convinced that Russian President Vladimir Putin has made a decision to attack Ukraine, that it could happen within days, and that the capital, Kiev, would be targeted. His Defence Secretary, Lloyd Austin, backed that up today, saying that Russian forces are poised to strike. But we've also heard from the Ukrainian President, Volodymyr Zelensky. He temporarily left Ukraine to address a major security forum in Munich. He used his speech to that forum to call for a meeting with Vladimir Putin, but he also had a message for Western leaders. He said that all of this talk of an imminent Russian invasion, that given all of those warnings, Western leaders should impose promised sanctions against Russia now rather than waiting for an attack.
And Jade, we also heard from the US Vice President at that same security conference. What was her message?
Yeah, Kamala Harris said that the world had arrived at a decisive moment in history. She argued that this forum had not convened under such dire circumstances since the end of the Cold War. She accused Russia of deliberate provocations and of spreading disinformation, and she really reinforced the warnings that have been coming from the US and its allies for some time now about the consequences that Russia would face if it does decide to invade.
We have prepared together economic measures that will be swift, severe, and united. And we will target those who are complicit and those who aid and abet this unprovoked invasion. Make no mistake, the imposition of these sweeping and coordinated measures will inflict great damage on those who must be held accountable.
Now, amid all of this, Russia has been carrying out major drills involving its strategic nuclear forces. Vladimir Putin oversaw those exercises remotely in what is seen as another show of strength that will only further escalate tensions.
Right, Jade McMillan there in Washington.